shouldn't be able to analyze, this conversation that we're having. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, especially if I didn't tell you. Right, you and I
Right.
are on Riverside right now. We know that we're having this conversation.
And think about how easy it is to forget, right? Like, if I have a watch that's doing that, especially if it's doing it without me fully knowing, or just all the time, be in the car having a serious conversation with one of my buddies, and I forget I'm wearing the watch. Yeah, I wear an Apple Watch every day, right? So I'm not ever thinking about, am I wearing the Apple Watch? It's a given that I'm wearing an Apple Watch.
Exactly.
So that line becomes very blurred between what am I intentionally recording, what am I unintentionally recording, what of my friends consent to that, what of them don't. Then that's a whole different thing that I got to disclose. Might forget to disclose.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't have to. That's the point.
Exactly.
And that's the danger of all of this, is that you don't have to disclose it, and then they just become part of the recording. Whether it's a recording with glasses and you're getting video, or it's a recording with audio, you've got their stuff, and they could be doing the same thing to you. That's the dangerous part about it, is they're putting all this technology in the hands of everyone. And at what point do you just have the expectation that you're being recorded? Is my concern. Yeah, that's something. It doesn't. What I'm saying, and I think at some point it's always going to be on, and that's the scary thing. I mean, honestly, like, I think what Sam, you're talking about, the trends right now, where guys, wearing the glasses and he's walking around with it and he's trying to hit on girls. I can't imagine what it's like to date in a world where you can just be recorded. Not even date, sorry. Try to hit on somebody, or go to a bar, go to a club, go to wherever, and try to hit on somebody, and then you're being recorded.
Well, it's like how it is there was all these other memes for a long time about the girls that would set up a tripod, or the dudes that would set up a tripod at the gym, and they'd have people walking through, and they get pissed, or they'd have someone come up and talk to them, and it'd be on the tripod, and they'd post it on Instagram, and it's like, well, that person was just living their life, you know what I mean? And now they're the subject of 100,000 Instagram likes, and they're being sent to, a group chat of 16-year-old guys that are all liking it and laughing at it. You know what I mean?
Or not even liking it, or just saying like this, this guy's such a douche because he hit on her while she was working out, and
he's a loser, and it's like ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's unfortunate. So that's where we're going with this stuff, and it is really concerning. And it's like they're releasing these toys, and I think that one of the issues is, Sam, it's to me, it's a generational thing. Right, there is this generation, the current generation, that thinks that this is just how it is and how it should be, and there's nothing to hide, and everything is Instagrammable. And I think that, I know my generation's like, nah, bro, like don't put me on that. I mean, I still have family and friends that didn't put their kids on social until they were like 6 years old or something. Right, you'd see them like covering their faces, or not putting them on social media because they don't want them part of that world from day one.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, my mom made an effort of that. Now, I did go on national television, so that kind of opened that can of worms.
Forget, Sam, that you were like the chef ninja kid.
Yeah, past life of mine, I guess.
Kind of amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it kind of jumped the shark on that one.
How come you haven't chefed us up anything yet? Like, what is happening?
Well, I was actually talking to my buddy about that the other day. I'm a little washed, admittedly. I don't think I'm like a Celtic Shack level of washed, but I'm...
What a pull.
Look at that. Yeah.
I think I still got another ring in me if I really, locked in.
Right.
It's just something I need to get back to. You know what I mean?
I would love it. I mean, you've been in my kitchen so many times. You never chefed up anything.
I peeked out at
watch
10.
Spanglish. Watch Spanglish again, and it'll get you back into it, man. We just watched that
I didn't know
day.
it was cooking. I had no idea Spanglish was cooking. Cooking movies are my favorite. Like that.
So go watch a movie called A Taste of Things.
I have it saved. It's on my watch list.
It's one of the best movies you will ever watch.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And it's about food. And it will be really hard not to cook immediately after watching it. And of course, it'll be really hard not to make love
while cooking.
Have you seen The Menu?
Yeah,
I have seen The Menu. I love The Menu. I love Chef. That's like one of my favorites. Even though it's kind of like, rom-commy, I love that movie. Burnt, it's all right. Saw one with
Ratatouille.
I've seen Ratatouille, of course. I've seen one with I think it's Stephen or Stephen Graham. What is that movie called?
I don't know, but dude, I want to know from your friends. I need you to go ask your friends if they've seen Ratatouille. You just said, of course. That's an of course for me too. But I don't know if that's
my favorite animated
legit
movie.
Yeah, I don't know
Really?
if I don't know
That's
if a
pretty
bunch of
good.
people. It's great, but anyway, I just want to know if you go ask your friends for me at some point and be like, y'all like this movie? Y'all enjoy that movie? Y'all own that movie? Because it's all of the above for me.
I think that I think my generation, luckily, or like my generation, but like my age group, luckily, still got a lot of that Pixar. I would be curious about like my sister and her friends, though.
Okay,
I
because
don't know if they like would have gotten Ratatouille. When I was a kid, we had like DVD players in the car, right? But we would have just binders of like movies, and so like physical, DVDs, and we watch them all the time. So I've seen a lot of these things like a million times. You know what I mean? I've seen Bug's Life. I remember we just had it in.
It's one of my favorites, bro.
Beginning
One
to
of my
end
favorites.
a million times. I've seen
Ants.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Ants is a little underrated. It's a little underrated. It's weird. It's a weird one.
But it's good though.
Swearing in it and it's strange. Yeah.
You know who should be a chef, but probably isn't? Flavor Flav.
I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you.
Actually, speaking of Flavor Flav, this is interesting. I was at Cane's.
He should have been there with Martha Stewart.
I was at Cane's the other day. They just put a Cane's in
the chicken place,
the mall by my house, and I love Cane's dearly. It's very good.
Dearly.
And they've got I show up there, and I go weekly pretty much, like, but everyone pretty frequently. And I show up, and I've just been there. I showed up this past weekend after seeing Warfare, and they have, not even kidding, like 10 cardboard cutouts of Flavor Flav in the front lawn. And I'm like, what is this? And so I go in the building, and they have all over the place on like the digital screens and stuff, on like the walls. They have like a life-size Flavor Flav sticker on the wall, and it's not even like a Flavor Flav meal. It's just a collab with Flavor Flav, and I'm like,
yeah, sounds like a licensing agreement.
Well, it was just weird. It was like, well, you're not even doing a Flavor Flav meal, but you're just going to get Flavor Flav and go all the way with Flavor Flav.
Black licorice.
It's funny to me though. I don't think I've ever heard Flavor Flav said so many times.
Here's the deal. Two things.
That's to be a record.
Two things. One, Flavor Flav's brand image right now is so different than his brand image from the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, where he was part of Public Enemy and was like considered a rights activist, really. So now I think he's kind of just known as the guy from Flavor of Love, and the guy with the clock on his neck. But he was a hype guy for Public Enemy. It wasn't like he really ever rapped, but he was part of a group that frankly gets taught in colleges. Colleges that have music programs teach Public Enemy. And then the other thing, the menu, Papa Bear brought up the menu. I liked the movie. What hurt the menu for me was I thought it was a pretty blatant ripoff of another movie called Club of Angels out of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
It's a really great movie. On IMDb, it says its gross was $6,116.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's one of those, like, I guess it didn't get picked up and they just let it sit on the shelf, but it's so good. It needs a resurgence. Like that movie would do well.
I like it so much about the book, Nick.
Any time, right? Like if it came out today, if it came out in 10 years, like people would love that movie.
Yeah, man. I had this is back when I was doing my filmmaker dinner, Sam. I had about 10 people come over, and we all had, how it normally works, the schedule is you come in, sort of networking, cocktails, then we sit down at my dinner table, we all have food. I either cater the food or make the food myself or have it made or whatever. It's just a nice little meal. The spirit we have is like a themed spirit of the night, right? Like it's someone in the room is the inspiration for the alcohol.
Confused.
Yes, for the alcohol. Then we all go outside, okay, and we sit by the fireplace and we drink and talk, and that's where the real stuff happens. And then at the end of the night, we all go in and we screen a film, and I picked the film. So one of the films was Club of Angels, and because I had just fed everybody and I was kind of like the chef and I got everybody drunk and they start watching the movie, they start freaking the fuck out. They're like, oh my God, this is how this is some meta shit right here. Like, we're watching a movie of how this guy is going to kill me. And I hope I didn't give too much away about the movie.
It was the
like,
absinthe in their drinks. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So had you seen the film before? Were you aware of what
I was aware,
about?
but I actually sort of fell ass backwards into sort of like a perfect movie for the situation. I just wanted to show people Club of Angels because it was a movie. I think me and Nick were jurors on a festival that we saw. We gave it commercially. We gave it best film. There was some people who didn't want us to do that. And then, but it deserved it. And I showed it, I screened it at this dinner, and it hadn't occurred to me that the theme of the movie was the theme of my party. And so they thought it was a devilish way to kill everybody.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
Chris, did you kill them all or no?
And he can't tell you that.
See, Sam's
statute of limitations, Nick. I have no idea when that occurred.
No, I loved everybody that came, but the fact that I really, I got, what is it called? Papa Bear, Stolen Valor. Is that what we heard for a month? Stolen Valor. I would say it was stolen valor for me. Like I was getting credit for like putting this on the nose, and I kind of just fell ass backwards into it. I just wanted people to see the movie, like. And it's like, I guess. But sometimes the universe gives you a gift like that when you have really good intentions for everybody. Mm-hmm. You get to look like you're the hero for a minute. That happens. It
does. It does. Yeah. Hey, Sam, you mentioned Warfare, and I think you're planning to go see a movie tonight, actually. What's your next, 2 movies you got on the list?
So I just did Warfare, which was good. I have some opinions on it, mainly regarding Alex Garland's involvement. But aside from that, on the Stolen Valor topic. But I think next we got Thunderbolts. That's on the docket for sure. May's busy. I know that I'm actually really excited. The Weeknd has a movie coming out. His album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, it's a movie, it's conjoined with the movie. His album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, is one of my favorite albums ever. It came out earlier this year. And I got the only perfect albums I think I've ever heard. And so they're doing a movie with it.
Ooh.
It's got Jenna Ortega.
The Weeknd keeps getting better somehow.
He's one of my favorites.
He keeps channeling Michael. That's why.
I love The Weeknd. I think.
Hey, I'm not, and that's what I love. Michael.
I don't know if he dances like Michael.
No, he doesn't
Chris
dance.
Brown
I don't know.
Dances like him.
It's the voice, man.
Yeah,
There's something that he's doing that
Chris
every
Brown
time
won
I hear
R&B
him
album of the
now,
year
I'm
last year.
that's straight up Michael.
There was no other nominees though.
What? No, I think Lucky Day was nominated. I think Coco, what's his name? What's her name? Coco Jones, Nick? Coco Jones?
He won
nominated
off of a deluxe. That's how rough it was. I don't like Chris Brown. He's all right.
Who's the girl? Layla Hathaway was nominated for Vanta Black. I just think the other albums are too black, to be honest with you.
I don't know if Childish Gambino was in that category. He was in
people hated his last project that he did.
I loved it.
But they'll love it in a year from now. So those kind of albums where it's I felt like Jesus was like that. Or was that the name of it? The one with the red tape across it?
Yeah, it's Jesus.
Yeah. I felt like Jesus was people hated it. And now people consider it one of the best albums.
Well, that was controversial earlier this week, at least on Twitter. It was Twitter controversial. Kanye claimed that he invented rage music with Jesus, which is the kind of big push that rap's in right now with artists like Playboi Carti and Playboi Carti's whole label and kind of where rap has been in the mainstream for the last few years. And he claimed that he invented it on Yeezus, which he's not entirely wrong about. And that's how kind of ahead of the curve that was, and is now being heralded as a classic and as influential to what we're at now back in 2011.
Here's the problem with
2013
with Kanye. Here's the problem.
This guy. I'm I never talk about this guy.
One problem.
He has now jumped the shark in a way in which I don't know if anything he says can be taken seriously.
It's too far.
Or is intended to be taken seriously. I heard a leaked track today from his album. You may have heard it as well, Sam and Nick, where he just says Heil Hitler over and over again.
Well, that's the track title.
Yeah. Is that on, he said all my N-words are, so it's just kind of is that for real? Or is that to make people listen at all costs? Because I'm not going to listen to it.
It's too preposterous at this point. Kanye's always done stunts of this nature where he's said something controversial that just so happens to line up with an album cycle, and then he gets all the attention.
Yep.
This time, though, he never stopped. Usually he pulls the brakes. He pumps the brakes and then he drops the album and then he goes back to good normal Kanye.
Yeah.
This time it's just continued and he's doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on these statements, on these things. And it's to the point where, and also the severity of what he's saying is so much more. It's so much more potent. It's so much stronger.
So much more vile. I mean, I think the thing that he's watering is so dangerous. And
I
you're
agree.
right. But in the past, we were in on the joke. The fans were in on the publicity stunt. And because he didn't stop, we're not in on it anymore. Nick, I can see you're chomping at the...
I was just going to say this.
At the bit
and I don't even like talking about him. But I'm just going to say that the new Kanye West is the dark, twisted legacy of Taylor Swift. She broke that.
Say more.
She broke him.
When
she won that award and he got up on stage and did what he did, ever since then it seems like it's just been a downhill spiral to me. And
I
I
entirely disagree.
And that's fine. And that's why I see it. I'm like, ever since then, it's just been like I can't pay attention to him. Like I know that he's had some albums
Genius
out.
Genius documentary, Nick?
No. I don't do it.
That was way before Taylor Swift, and he was like that.
No. He has had. What I'm saying is that he's had a complex, especially when it comes to like wanting whatever other people have. But that for me, right? For you guys, it's a different experience, right?
Sure.
So I'm not making some.
Well, I just want
statement.
I don't know if you're making a take for yourself or a take that's supposed to be aligned with real history.
No, I'm making the take for myself.
Okay,
I'm going to be clear, right? Let me be clear. That the way that I see it, that's how I see it, and because that's for me, that was like the incident, an inciting incident where it was just like it just never came back, right?
Yeah.
And again, there's stuff that happened before then. I'm sure that
I would argue
it just kind of bubbled up, and it just bubbled up. But I just like ever since then, man, I just can't. And so like I don't even because this is the most I talk about him, right? I don't even bother with it.
So you have any addicts in your family, Sam or Nick? Like I know it's super personal, but like
sure.
no, without naming names, like. Me and PB have had addicts in our we have people in our extended family that have dealt with like abuse and if you've ever seen someone go down. Now me and you, Nick, have maybe seen some friends, but when you see someone go down the spiral, it's a slow descent, to your point, Nick. And the reason why it feels like it went down from that moment is because he continued to get more famous whilst doing really great music. So the drug he's addicted to is fame.
It didn't hurt him. It didn't. If that had broke him, it would have been a completely different trajectory. What that did though is it stunted him, and then he went and made what a lot of people consider to be his best, most kind of commercially successful album, and then he was back right like that. And it was it won the Grammy, it won like all the Grammys.
Apple has the best rap album ever made.
Which is preposterous, and it's not even like in his top 5 of his albums, but it's
you talking about Dark Twisted Fantasy?
I think it's good.
I think it's top 3.
No.
Top 3 of his, for sure.
My favorite is The Life of Pablo. And that's what I'm saying. I think from him as like a creative, I respect your take here, Nick, that's kind of where he, where you kind of tapped out with Kanye West. I think creatively, though, that's really where he kind of broke through. Like,
I think, out of what he was supposed to do into what he wanted to do.
Because he had Kanye West as an artist and as someone has always, I think part of the reason he's so kind of quote unquote self-destructive with these comments and with these rants that he goes on and stuff is because he also, I think, plays better when he's got to win people back over. And so
he's bipolar, but there's that.
And I'm just glad he still has, both of his ears, because that's what I'm saying. He's that kind of dude. He's that kind of artist. Like, just cut off the ear, bro, and just see what happens. And
he still might. That's
what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, here's the deal. This is what I get back to.
By the way,
so I don't even like talking about this. Don't even like talking about this.
Sam, finish talking about the Weeknd's movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to get back to the movies that Sam's got on the list because, I've got some, like, this weekend. So anyway, you talk about Thunderbolts. The Weeknd's movie, you said that comes out in May at some point, right?
It's either next weekend or the following. It's 18th of May. Is that a Friday?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. So I've got Revenge of the Sith and Sinners on the list. So, my son is big Star Wars, so he wants to go see that in the theater. Is that why?
I've been pretty confused with the Revenge of the Sith stuff. because I don't really like Star Wars, and so I've been looking at it as like a kind of outside looking in. I've never been someone to be too interested in re-releases unless I haven't seen the movie. So I'm very
depends
interested.
on where. It depends on where you are. So, like, we went to see John Wick re-release in the theater, and the reason is because my son had not seen it in the theater. He saw it at home, so he wanted the cinematic experience. I think with the Revenge of the Sith, it's the same thing. We watched it at home, right? So now he wants to see it in the theater. So I totally get it because he likes the theater experience and he likes having that experience with me. So we're gonna go see it. So that's on. That's on the list. I know. I cough, bro. It's catching me mid word, but anyway. So that, and of course, Sinners, because I'm hearing a lot of great stuff about it. Who was it? I just saw a little thing on Instagram with Kevin Bacon and his wife talking about it, and the fact they're like go see Sinners. Like, you guys gotta go see it. It's an amazing movie, and they're saying what they say. They said, look.
It's a moment in time. It's history now.
You need the movies, and the movies need you. Right. And that was, that was really cool. A really cool sentiment. I just like the idea. Like, yeah, you got to go see these because these are cinematic things. Yeah. At some point you'll see it on your home screen, but it's not intended that way. Right. Yeah. When Coogler went through all the different variations of how he made this film, I don't recall him talking about a cell phone, an iPad, or a television.
No, right? I don't. Something tells me that wasn't what he was thinking about.
Exactly.
Greatest marketing campaign I've seen in a long time. I want to talk about that, but Sam, I don't know if you or Nick released this, but didn't we have a Star Wars poll recently about like, are people going to go watch it?
Oh yeah, we did.
How did that do? Are people like looking forward to watching this Star Wars film?
A lot of my like personal friends went, and like it's been a big deal. It grossed 20-some million in its first weekend back, and I was like, why? So 50% said nope, 37% said yes, and 12% said not yet, but soon. The poll was, did you see Revenge of the Sith in theaters?
So Nick, what do you think about that? 50% aren't going to watch it. Has Star Wars always been that polarizing, or is it just this particular release?
No, it could be this one. I mean, this is a movie like, this is a while ago, and depending on who we're hitting, like they might have seen it enough times that they just don't need to see it again, right? And because I'm thinking like my son, he's 14 now. I think if you're 10 to 14, maybe you're gonna go to see it. I think if you're a Star Wars person, you'll go to see it. But then there's a lot of people like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I don't need to go see it in the theater kind of thing.
Yeah, because
I saw it too. I wasn't jumping at it when I saw it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go see it with my son.
I think it's the Star Wars brand is so saturated, it doesn't have impact anymore.
That's how I feel personally. Yeah.
You can't follow the storylines. There's been so many iterations of Star Wars that I think people have just lost interest in the storyline.
It kind of has to be your life to follow it.
Well, not just that, but Star Wars, I talk about this actually with my dad a lot. Star Wars as a brand, think of the hit to miss ratio of the movies. But the show is not even included because the shows are trash. But you include the movies.
Except for one.
Except for Andor, right? Andor's good, right?
I don't watch
I haven't even seen Andor.
I know Andor's
Bad
got
Batch,
good buzz around it. I don't watch any of that shit.
Bad Batch. Sam, if you haven't seen Bad Batch, watch Bad Batch.
I don't really...
The fact that there's that many shows
Nick,
makes Papa Bear's point.
Sam, just one episode.
I don't like TV. I don't like TV.
Just one episode.
How long is an episode?
Maybe 30 minutes.
Maybe I'll do it.
Okay, it's not long, bro. Just trust me. One episode.
I don't know. I didn't like Clone Wars.
You'll be like, this isn't Clone Wars, bro. As I'm telling you.
It's similar.
I'm telling you, bro. I wouldn't compare it to any of those things. Which is why it is the one show that I will stand behind. The rest of them I can give to you. Like, yeah, I'm not watching that, or I won't watch it again.
Season 1. I thought that was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was quality.
They did it okay.
Season 2, trash. I'll think about it. But I was thinking about it. I was like, first of all, the shows.
Think about it long and hard, like an audience poll.
The thing with the shows is there's so many that it's to the point where you can't even watch them. So not even counting the shows. What's the hit to miss ratio on the movies? 3 good ones? There's 3 good ones. Are there 3 good Star Wars movies? There's like 12 movies, right? Because there's 3
all
trilogies.
The first ones were good, right? No. The first 3 were good. And it's the ones in the middle where they had the little young Anakin Skywalker that everybody was like,
you have to remember, you have to judge it by the eyeballs and of 77.
Well, I was watching them when I was a child. So this
I'm not saying they hold up. I'm just saying that.
Right.
I told you I watched a Neverending Story recently, and I was like, "This is trash." But when I watched it when I was a kid, it was amazing.
Oh, it's the best thing in the world.
It was amazing.
I had child eyes watching these just as much as I've seen them. Not recently, but in the last 10 years. And I think that for me, it's like, I like I guess the first one, A New Hope. Yeah. I like the second one, Empire Strikes Back. Revenge of the Sith is passable at best, and I really liked the I can't even remember the name. It's the first one that after they came back, J.J. Abrams,
making Papa Bear's point.
Rey and Finn and
can't even remember
Poe Dameron and
Sam.
It's the best one. So
Sam, didn't you also do a poll where you kind of asked Star Wars or Star Trek?
I did a sci-fi poll.
Okay.
Is
your dad a Star Wars or a Star Trek person?
I think he's a little like Dune.
This question comes up like Jordan versus LeBron. It's just like it's the poll question that never dies. It's like the debate that never dies.
Yeah,
there's no right or wrong answer to it
because you can't
I always
compare
go
them.
back to Joey Baggs. Joey Baggs said Star Trek is for adults.
Right. Yeah, but it's just different. They're two entirely different shows altogether, and there's certain. Hey guys, if you haven't done this in a while, watch the first Star Wars. Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's off on some.
I've seen 0 Star Treks.
Dude. The first one is off on some craziness. I don't know what that movie is. Like I watched it, I'm like, who came up with this? Like this movie isn't even a thing. I'm like watching Darkness. Like they're just in space for like 30 minutes. I'm like, do something. Have something happen. Like it's just I'm sitting there watching with my son. I'm like, I have no clue what I'm watching. How did they get a sequel out of this garbage movie? And then the sequel's great. Wrath of Khan is amazing. But like the first one, you gotta watch it just because
I'll do it eventually.
It's amazingly ridiculous.
It's kind of like it sounds like it's kind of like the Mad Max effect. Mad Max 1 is really good, but it's so different and not identical to the brand. Like I don't know how different are these? Like are these
I'll just say the Star Trek movie is nothing like the television show.
Well, the second one, how similar is it to the second one?
Well, no, they're totally different. The second one is more aligned with the TV show, but the first one, but the first one and the second one are totally different movies.
It's like Mad Max, where Mad Max 1 is super, I guess low key when you compare it to everything else, and then the second one, they're in the wasteland. It's they're in, the dudes are in leather thongs and they're riding through the wasteland, and it's awesome. And the first one's good too, but it's like that's I guess how they did stuff.
No, but you just gotta watch it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those things that it is so off. It is so crazy. It is so ridiculous that it's amazing that is like part of like Star Trek is such a big part of the. I just don't know how they were approved to make a second movie after that one. But anyway, you got to check it out if you have a chance, and hopefully you can sit the whole time and not turn off.
Didn't Star Trek start as a TV show first and then became a movie?
Yes. Yeah, it did. But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
And Star Wars was the other way around.
Yeah,
movie,
it was.
then TV
it
show.
was.
Yep.
Yeah, but I just anyway.
Where do you build your audience better?
Ooh, better?
TV show or a movie?
Well, I think that another good example is Mission Impossible, which was
TV
a show.
show to movie.
And then there was a movie, and the first Mission Impossible, I did the Mission Impossibles a couple summers ago, and I watched one every night for like a week. And
nice.
Pretty magical, I'll be honest.
They're great movies.
At a camp, and so I would start them at like 8 o'clock, be asleep at like 9, because I had to get up for my... It was like teaching like 4-year-old kids art and stuff. But I made it through them all. The first Mission Impossible compared to the second Mission Impossible is night and day different. Yeah. It's super different. And part of it is you've got the director swap.
Yeah.
De Palma did the first one, I'm pretty sure. And then you had John Woo, I think is who did the second one.
Oh, really?
Is that the guy? That's the director who does the doves, right, all the time? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Kind of like Michael Bay when he did Get You Up Your Nose and you're looking out like this.
I think Yeah, it was John.
But they're great movies.
It is John Woo.
To me, when it comes on, it's like Jason Bourne to me. Like, I'll watch every Jason Bourne there is. All the Matt Damon ones, at least.
Well, I will tell you this, Chris. If you're talking about your health and eating right, working out, I have to admit, and I laughed to myself once I admitted it to myself, that I was on the treadmill the other day.
Okay. That's a
and
start.
I turned up the speed.
Yeah.
And I told myself, run like Tom Cruise. I totally did it, bro. I was cutting air, bro. Those arms were like this to my side, like head up, like chest out. I ran like Tom Cruise and MI, bro. I was on it.
This is a very impromptu, like, go live stream thing, unscheduled, unannounced. We didn't promote it. We're just like on here live. And
why not?
And we'll release this as an episode as well. But just to mention, I don't even think we've said out loud like what we're doing. It's just we just decided to hop on and go live. But for those that don't know, Nick has like his whole bottom floor, and almost the entirety of it is dedicated to fitness. And do you remember that time that I was at your house and I was competing with someone on like the Apple Watch? I think it was my friend Eric. Shout out to Eric Kirchhoff.
Yep.
And I went down and ran 45 minutes straight on your
just so you could beat
just
that
so
dude.
I could beat him. Yeah. I came back upstairs to our meeting covered in sweat.
Yeah, you're
just
like, dude, I just have to do it. Like, I just have to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
It was crazy because I didn't
have
any gym clothes. I was running like in just the clothes I had on.
Yeah.
And the shoes I had, I didn't have any way to do it. I was like, dude, I cannot let this guy beat me. Like, this is crazy, bro. And I was possessed. It was weird because it was so painful because I was just in weird clothes for like 5 minutes. And after that, I just got runner's high. And then I started running like Tom Cruise.
You're just on, bro. Like, and it's funny. Like, if any of you ever have to run for any reason, just think about Tom Cruise. It'll make that run that much more enjoyable, even if you're running from something. Yeah, because people are like, you're gonna get away if you run like Tom Cruise, man.
You'll
get away.
By the way, what theater are you gonna watch Sinners in? This kind of matters with this movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, you mean like, am I gonna go IMAX or whatever? Yeah, I'm gonna go IMAX if they have it. I'm gonna go IMAX if they have it.
You gotta go.
If it's still available.
Why wouldn't they have it? What
no,
else
because
is
remember,
in
I know
IMAX
Sam
right
was saying that they might take the IMAX away from them.
It's coming back. I don't know if it's an IMAX full release, but I saw announced today it crashed the AMC website because it's re-releasing in 70mm. I don't know if it's a full IMAX re-release, but I know it's coming back in 70mm. Tickets went on sale, crashed AMC's website. It's come back for one weekend, like middle of May. And it literally crashed the website, which is the most insane thing that, Marvel movies don't even crash the AMC website anymore. You know what I mean? So for Sinners to do that in like 8 theaters nationwide, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenon. It's turned into a phenomenon. Did you see him on Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman? She was talking about his contract, and he's just kind of like, yo, the contract has been done before. I have not innovated anything here. And I think it's really interesting that people are promoting my movie by promoting my contract versus the art of the movie, which is very, very interesting. And I do think we are in a place in society, like, the conversation we were having when we decided to just like press the go live button was just about like what we're going into, like next 5 years, next 10 years. I don't know if we're going to even recognize the world because everything and everyone is being recorded. It's very clear that the infoists are beating the humanists right now. Will we have even IP rights in 5 or 10 years? Because the infoists have all the money, which means they have all the political power and might. Like, it's very interesting where we're going into. And then Ryan Coogler's making this incredible film, this incredible piece of art in a time where a lot of people are low-key jealous of his success, even while they're congratulating him. And I would also say we're in a time where everybody counts everybody's money and girlfriends. Like, it's just like everyone is interested in what the next person's doing. There's this like rush to talk about, expose, exploit, make content out of. Even the people who do it with like the best intentions, guys, they'll take the work that someone else is doing and they'll spin it into content for their own, gain and benefit. So we really are in a world where you can learn and absorb anything and everything you want, and we have no idea what the cost of all that is yet. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting because we're in a content age, right? This is relatively new for us. Our kids, Chris, some of them were born into it. So it's a content age, not
MF Doom quote there.
Yeah, it's not this, films meant something to us. The experience meant something to us. Now it's just, saturated entertainment, constant entertainment. It's like literally every second of every day is full of something. And it's like sugar. I always tell my kids the same thing. It's like sugar. I mean, it tastes really good. I mean, granted, if you get some sugar, they're like, yes, you will do that. It's just not good for you. Brush your teeth and make you unhealthy. Same thing with all this content. Right. It's sweet. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's all the things. But then you just want more of it. Right. Constantly. We're no
all guilty
break
of it.
from it. Yeah. There's no break from it. And it's a challenge. That's why for me, man, it's like my cell phone, most of the time, it's face down. Right. I don't want that sucker face up, blinking at me every 2 seconds, reminding me of all the things that I'm supposed to do or the things that they want me to look at. And, it's just, so it's crazy. It's a different time. And, you mentioned how it's like a different world. The one thing I told you guys I wanted to talk about with this whole movie mate that Meta came up with. And they released it with the, I guess, second release of Megan. And it's just crazy to me that they would actually think that it's a good idea for us to have our cell phones open in the theater while watching a movie. So
if you make cell phones and apps, it's a crazy good idea.
Yeah, but exactly. But Movie Mate, the whole idea was during Megan, what you would do was you would text this number or whatever, and it would go to the Instagram account of Megan. Yeah. And then they called it a chat bot, but it wasn't really a chat bot because you couldn't interact with it. It would send you behind the scenes stuff or trivia from the movie at different parts of the movie. But here you are in a theater, most of which tell you when you first walk in, put your cell phone away. You're in a movie, which is dark, and you have your light cell phone on, right? While people are now trying to watch a movie and they're seeing your cell phone light on. Yeah. And now you're interacting with the phone while a movie is playing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Sam. Well, it's gross.
It's just, it's immediately what I thought of is, on Amazon Prime, when you watch a movie, you pause it, and it's got the shit that comes up on the sides with the cast at the bottom. It's like that, I guess.
The X-ray.
Yeah, is that what it's meant to be? Is that
No, this is worse because it's going to give you trivia, it's going to give you all this stuff. But the thing is that it's not when you pause it, Sam. I'm cool with that if you show me the cast when I pause it, right? But I don't want to interact with that stuff while I'm watching the movie and inviting that stuff into a theater. I'm having a theatrical experience with people with their cell phones out. I hate that crap when people do that, man. It's frustrating. I don't want to see that freaking light on, right? I'm looking at the screen. So I hope it doesn't catch on. I hope people continue to, I've read a couple articles that people say it sucks. It's the worst thing. I want it to go away. To me, I just this is freaking
Go ahead, Papa Bear.
Well, just they're getting you to pay them so you can look at your phone.
Right. Well, I think it's also this, PB. It's that all they're doing is extrapolating the behavior you have at home to the theater. They are smart. They have money. They do surveys. They have study groups. They do all kinds of testing. They know that maybe not me and you, Nick, maybe not you, Papa Bear, but Gen Alpha, Gen Z, they always have their phone in their hand when they watch a movie at home. So they're saying, how can we take that home experience to the theater? Because they may have discovered through some testing that the obstacle for young people to go to the theater turns out it's not the expense or the imposition or the travel or anything like that. It could just be that they're not allowed to use their phone.
Bro, this is a conspiracy. No, it's a conspiracy, bro. They are trying to kill the theatrical experience because if they can dilute it too and turn it into the home experience, and why go to the theater, right? That's what makes the theater sacred. It's a different experience.
Maybe,
it's a conspiracy, man. They're coming after the theater, so I don't like it. I don't like anything about it.
It's like going to, why would you go to a music festival? Or why would you go to instead of a concert? Or why would you go to Burning Man instead of just calling your buddies and going on a weekend trip? There's a communion part of it that the theaters can take advantage of this. It's just going to change, but I'm not saying I'm dude, yeah, I don't like it. But it feels like when I watch my kids watch movies, they watch them with the phone in their hand. They cannot watch a movie without their phone in their hand. I've never seen him.
Oh yeah, no, my son definitely doesn't do that.
Not at home.
He never has. Yeah, he never has the phone on.
Yeah.
I have my phone. Hold on. I have my phone in my hand, but it's a completely different reason than literally anyone else.
Okay.
Ooh, I want to know this.
Yeah,
I consistently will have my phone in my hand to look at like actor names, to look at writer, director, producer, what they've done, what other work they've done, how it connects. Basically, the nerd. I'm never doing anything like cool or interesting on my phone.
Do you do that at the beginning?
But wait, in the theater or at home?
Never in the theater.
This is at home.
People who are on their phone at the theater.
Well, good. We don't have to kill you.
Disgusting.
Yeah. My kids are on their phone in the theater. I'm talking about when they watch shows and movies at home. They watch them on the couch casually. They're not like focused in. They're not locked in. And one of the reasons why my oldest daughter started watching movies on her laptop was because she felt the space around her was too big. I thought that was quite a phenomenon at the time. That was 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago. I was like, that's kind of that's kind of phenomenon. She doesn't want to use the theater in our house because it's too big of a space, and she doesn't feel intimate enough with the content. She wants the content close to her eyeballs, where only she's around, and no one's behind her, or no one's going to walk in, or no one can see her expressions of joy, sadness, adulation, etc. And it's just the generational thing where it's like, those are intimate moments for me. And if you're born into the phone, you're not born into a situation where you share intimacy with people like that. That's one theory I have. I think there's a lot of other things at play too. Before Papa Bear, is it true that you pulled like a live stream things we should know? Is that true or not true? Okay, we're gonna go to that before we get off here. But I wanted to just go back to Ryan Coogler's contract thing real quick, just to give a little information and insight. I think, look, one thing that we don't want to beat you over the head with is that we're producers and we make movies, and we don't want to beat you over the head with it. We hope that you know that, and that you like the stuff we make when we get to make it, etc. But I do feel like if we don't talk about the contract, you're missing out on something that you can really get from us directly. And so if you are one of those people who are reading the articles about his contract, and the article's kind of just saying sort of vaguely, Ryan Coogler's getting, first dollar in gross receipts, and he gets the rights back to his movies in 25 years, and you really don't know the impact of that or what that means and why it's article worthy, I'll just say this, that the way that movie contracts are set up, there's no two that are alike, really. That's why you have to have a great entertainment lawyer, because in a movie contract, anything can be put in and anything can be taken out that you're willing to negotiate. There's a lot of leverage at play. If you're a first-time filmmaker and the studio has a deal for you and you try to negotiate too hard, they'll just say, fuck it. We'll just do the next guy's movie or next gal's movie, because it's too competitive, right? So a lot of times when you do your first movie, you're getting like their standard deal, hopefully with some changes here or there. But I mean, it's not like you're going to get a sweetheart deal. Now, Coogler has Black Panther. And because he has Black Panther, and he made a lot of people rich. I've always said this. Now, this has nothing to do with film, really, but I've said this in my life, and just in general advice is, if you want to get rich, make somebody else rich. Well, Ryan Coogler made somebody else rich, and therefore he's rich. And he gets negotiating leverage. And what he really did is he honestly made the contract fair, because what happens in a film contract is 50% of the profits go to the investors. And so just imagine a pie being split in half, not an American pie, not anything Jason Biggs is going to, sleep with in his kitchen, but like you split this pie down the middle. And because he really didn't, he made love to the pie, right, Nick? It wasn't like, so sleep with is right. Anyway, you split the pie down the middle. Half of it goes to the investors. We're talking about the profits now. And then the other half goes to the producers, which the directors usually in that can sometimes be in that bundle if he or she produced as well. Otherwise, the director takes their director's fee, the writer takes their writer's fee, and then the producers profit on the back end, the other half of that pie. Well, if you want to get in that producers group, right, then you have to kind of get in line. Usually your debts come first, then taxes and expenses, the accountant, all the things you have to pay up front. Then what's left over then gets divvied up between those players. But what Ryan Coogler did was said, no, put me before the debt.
Mm-hmm.
Put me before the debt. Okay.
Baller.
So let me be first. Let me be first money in or first money out. Right. And you can negotiate those kind of deals sometimes as an EP if you're like last money in. Like you're doing the post funds, you're doing what's called the mezzanine funding, so they can finish the movie. You have a lot of negotiating power because everybody's waiting to get paid, get the movie finished. But this wasn't the case with Ryan. Like he just was able to get first in line, and this is called pari-passu, like payments, right? And that's really great. But the real question is, Nick and Sam and PB, why isn't it like that already? Like.
So that's not even the question for me. The question is, who leaked that contract? Why is that our business?
And why is it a story? Yeah.
Well, I wondered if the story is a story because maybe he's the first major black director to have that contract, to have that kind of deal.
Maybe, but those deals do exist. So maybe it's a black thing. I don't know. He wouldn't tell Amy Goodman on Democracy Now! Why he thought people were caught up on the contract.
Sharing the pie,
Oh, that's right. That's right, PB. Talk
yeah,
your shit.
well, yeah, it's just interesting though that this is part of the conversation, and I think that's why he stayed away from it. He's like, I don't want to talk about what they're talking about me. You're right. Let's get back to also just talking about this movie that I made.
Yeah, the movie's fantastic.
Because honestly, like, I mean, he's probably of a generation. He's probably of a culture. Wow, that cat literally jumped up on him. Like,
for if you're watching this live, you are in for a treat. A big pussy just jumped on Sam's head.
That's good.
Smothered him.
Let me get him out of here.
No, okay. He's good. He's good.
You can leave the cat in there.
Yeah, you leave the cat. So
okay.
The thing is that like it's just crazy. Like I said, it's crazy to me that this
kind of vibe here.
This is part of the conversation, and I think he's like, look, he's part of a generation that's like, I'm not here to talk about my money. Like that's not what people of a certain culture and whatever do. Like no, that's not your business. Like that's not. It wasn't it Ryan Coogler who almost got arrested going into get cash out at a bank?
I don't remember, but
I think it was. I think he was actually going to get cash out, and he was being subtle. Look, I'm gonna tell him if I had an opportunity to talk to him, I'd be like, don't do stuff like that. Like, come on, man. Yeah. You're a brown skinned person. You can't be doing stuff like this. But I think it was he who walked into the bank and he passed a note to the teller because he didn't want other people to hear about how much money he was taking out because he needed the money for his film.
Yeah, but that's robbery.
But it was a lot of money.
But that's robbery behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
He must have been in Oakland, man.
You see, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, why would you? Come on. And then of course, they push that button. But he was like, come on, you're racial profiling. I'm like, nah, bro, you passed a note to a teller in a bank.
Yeah,
like, everyone's seen that movie.
That's you're a film guy, bro. Well, look, I do think it compares to me to like what they do to athletes. Now, do they do to athletes what they do to Ryan Coogler for the same reason? See, again, he wouldn't give the reason to Amy Goodman, but I have some suspicions, right? Why is it that you get to know the athlete's contract? It's not leaked. It's just now it's an expectation. What was the contract? How much is he getting paid? We know how rich everybody is, but they don't do that on Wall Street. They don't tell us how much Jamie Dimon makes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like
they don't tell us how much Ken Griffin makes.
Right, he's not going to be that guy. Like he's not going to put it out there, even though they've put it out there for him. He doesn't want to.
That's my point.
Into that.
They put it out there for him, like they do. I don't think any athlete wants the world to know how much money he or she makes. I really don't think they want that out there.
No, man, especially
and they can't
now.
control it. They've lost complete control of the narrative.
Especially now because you got
anyway.
There you go. Thank
you. That
PB.
happens, PB. That happens all the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the point. It's like it's almost like setting you up for that. That's what. Yeah. Why? No one needs to know that. And you said it's just athletes because the number of freaking I watch soccer. The number of professional footballers in Europe who are getting robbed, man, at their houses. It's just insane. They
when
talk
you let
about
the world know how much money they got, what do you like? It's a game, as
but if
one Dick
everybody's
Gregory used to say.
A lot. I mean,
it's a game.
Everybody already knows it.
Mm-hmm,
I guess.
All right,
but
PB, you got this. You got things we should know.
To me, that's crazy.
We can chew on today. I'm interested. I'm curious now.
Hit us with the things we should know.
The first thing you need to know is that the things we should know segment is brought to you by Cotton Bureau.
Look at you.
Who sponsors our online shop where we offer, guess what? Buttery t-shirts, long and short sleeve.
Are they buttery or are they buttery soft?
Buttery soft.
Okay. Our
They don't
t-shirts
wipe
are
off.
our t-shirts raise your cholesterol.
You can use them to wipe you better off. Hoodies, boats, pullover, and zip much more. Just go to cottonbureau.com and search for the Make It podcast and find your favorite apparel in your favorite colors. Many available emblazoned with your favorite cities like LA, New York, London, Toronto, Tokyo, Chicago, Sydney, Atlanta, and of course, Nashville.
There it is.
Don't wait. Go to cottonbureau.com to make your own personal Make It podcast connection. That's Cotton Bureau, and search for the Make It podcast.
I love it. I love the fact that these shirts are emblazoned.
They are emblazoned.
Yeah,
with the Make
that
It
they
logo.
are. Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, PB, what you got?
All right. Well, since we're talking about movies,
We are. That's what we do.
what film has won the most Razzie Awards in a year? This is something Sam would
Now,
know.
do you want to give the audience, PB, a little context on what a Razzie is, just in case they don't know?
Well, it's just an award for the worst.
Right.
And I'll tell you.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I
there's
have,
no more
I have
to
a
it.
guess. Okay, yeah,
Oh.
there is. My guess is G.I. Jane.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. G.I. Jane.
Were
Now,
they
what's
doing the Razzies then?
Yes.
That's a good point, Sam.
Yes, they were.
Okay, so G.I. Jane. Nick, did you Google this? Did you cheat?
We can throw in
When,
how many
when was I going to do that?
You're very
Razzies.
whenever you want, bro. Like,
No, how? When? Like, I don't even understand. He asked the question. I just answered
He's
it.
got the meta contact.
Yeah, exactly.
and he's over there. He's got 3 AI agents up over there at all times. I know.
Yeah.
He's got the co-pilot for the Make It.
Exactly.
That's right.
What's the? By the way, we're gonna build that one day. Papa Bear.
G.I. Jane.
So give me the question again.
What film has won the most Razzie Awards in a year?
In a year. Okay, so I
And
want to
how
hear
many
that
do you think that
specific
is?
wording. I want to hear that specific wording. How can a Razzie be won more than once in a single year?
No. It's different
well, it's
categories.
Worst
Categories.
picture, worst.
Oh, it's a whole
Well, I
category.
know-
thing. Okay.
I know I know a different Razzie fact I could share.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
that the movie based around J.D. Vance, Hillbilly Elegy, I actually auditioned for that movie.
Holy
Did not
shit.
get the part. I was
You're
going to
not
play a young
hillbilly
J.D.
enough.
Vance. And so that is one of the only movies to be nominated for both a Razzie and an Oscar in the same year. And it was, I can't remember.
wow.
I think it was, I don't know if it was Glenn Close.
That's a pretty
got
incredible accomplishment
nominated.
in and of itself.
And then it was nominated for like all the Razzies, and then it was nominated for like one Oscar, one supporting Oscar.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Interesting.
Wow.
Let me make
That's
a guess
crazy.
here. Let me make a guess.
No bonus
for-
things we should know.
That is
It
a
is.
bonus
I
things
like
we
that.
should know. Hillbilly Elegy movie nominated for a Razzie and an Oscar in the same year.
I don't know if it
This
was
is
the only
crazy.
one, but it's one of the only ones. I think it's the only one, but
I think you're right about that.
That's not a thing we should know. That's the thing you should find out.
Then you should find out. What's
That's
the
the thing we
acronym?
could care
Nick,
less
what-
about.
Is if it's we or you, but
Things we should find out.
TYSFO.
Sounds like a branch of the military.
That's right.
Okay, you're going G.I. Jane. Sam, do you got a guess?
Okay.
I got like the best I could do is either Morbius or the GOAT, Madam Web. But I feel like I would know. That was so recent. I feel like I would know for sure. That would have just happened.
But wouldn't people have had to have
Sam.
seen Madam Web for it to get arrested?
Oh, I saw it in theaters. It's one of the only movies to make me actually physically ill in a theater seat.
Wow, I'm surprised you did it, man. Well, you're a movie file, so like you just
I
had,
had to
do
get it
but-
done, of course.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. This is gonna be unpopular because I actually like the movie, but I'm gonna go with the Dave Chappelle, Jon Stewart movie, Half Baked.
Half baked.
Which half? Okay, so
It just means he was half high, Papa Bear. Okay. Okay. I've been high before. I know
Yeah.
that. I get high. How do you think I got this cowboy hat on? I'm high right now.
how do you think I got this job?
How do you think I got this job? I walked in high.
Are you ready for the answer?
We are ready.
Yep.
Give it.
It's the 1996 film
Freddie got fingered. Holy shit.
Showgirls. Director Paul Verhoeven,
Yeah.
and it was at least 7 Razzies. Worst picture, worst actress, worst director, worst screenplay, new star, Screen Cup.
That's the
That's
worst.
evil. That's evil, bro.
Worst
Well,
news.
hey,
What
dude.
a career. What a
Person gets a break. They're trying
what
to
a-
break into
what a career
industry, and
ender.
you say no. You say literally
Nah.
no.
Worst
She
original
didn't break
song.
in. She was
worst original song.
Saved
is
by the Bell, right?
crazy.
and Jesse Spano, and it. Yeah. That was did she ever do a movie ever again after that? Like,
so Showgirls was Elizabeth. Her name is Elizabeth. What's her last name?
I don't look it up, Sam. But
it's
Jesse Spano.
I've got Elizabeth Hurley. I've got Elizabeth Shue. It's neither of those. It's
No.
Elizabeth Berkley. Elizabeth Berkley was the star of Showgirls.
I looked it up already.
Fun fact, we did a film called Wild Man, which later got changed to Adult Interference. The director, or one of the co-directors of that film, is worked for Elizabeth Berkley for like 10 years, I think, or 5 years.
Elizabeth Berkley, Kyle MacLanahan.
Oh, interesting.
Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon, wow.
Yeah, but check it, Chris.
Plummer.
I do have to say that, it
that's
probably got all the Razzies.
That's 7 degrees separation.
But
with
a lot of people went to see
way.
that movie because it was flipping Jesse Spano.
Yeah, that's what the investors were betting on. And I'd like to see, I need to look this up, Sam, on IMDb Pro. Did it make its money back? I bet it did.
Well, that was back when, even if it didn't, it went on DVD and it went into, I guess Blockbuster
But to
was still
Nick's
around.
point, this was like your teenage fantasy girl, one of them,
Yep.
right? Like you had Lisa Turtle, who was Lark Voorhees, right, or is Lark Voorhees. You had Tiffany Amber Thiessen, who played Kelly Kapowski. These were like the girls you grew up. You wanted your high school girls to look like them if you were a guy that was straight. And and I think a lot of females also wanted to look like them, but also wanted us to look like, Slater or Zach Morris, which is Mark Paul Gosselaar, and Mario Lopez is Slater, of course. No one wanted Shriek or Shriek. Sorry, what is his name? But he died. Also, what was his name? Something Powers. And I think, are you surprised by that? Like he was
Screech.
Screech.
That's his name. Yeah.
He was the stooge. He was the stooge of the show, and he had the hardest time after the show. I don't think that's a coincidence, but yeah, I mean, I think to Nick's point, if you watch Showgirls, you were there to sort of fulfill a fantasy potentially.
That's so sad though that they got because that's tough, and like Sam was saying, to get all those Razzies, like God, that's painful.
Grossed $20 million.
Interesting.
Had an estimated budget of $45 million.
No
in 90, what, 7?
How could they spend 45 on it?
Well,
was it all Gina Gershon?
The awards were in 96, but it was a 1995 film.
What did they spend $45 million on? Marketing?
That's probably, is that with marketing?
Or is that the production
Somebody's
budget?
pocket, I guess.
IMDb is usually only tells you the
Baby
production
oil?
budget.
It's probably
They almost never tell you the P&A budget.
No.
Or the baby
That's
oil
wild.
budget.
There you go.
Hello,
Things
somebody.
we should know.
That is a thing we should know.
Yeah, well, here,
even more than the Razzie or the movie or the amount, it's the $45 million budget. I watched that movie.
That's
There
so
is
weird.
nothing in that movie that could have cost $45 million in 1995 money.
Yeah,
We should find out who the investors were.
Well, the other thing is, PB, that we talked about the Razzies and what they're about, but the one thing I was going to mention is that the Razzies is actually short for the Golden Raspberry Awards, which is isn't that crazy? Like, it's the golden. If you were to ask someone now, you know what the Golden Raspberry Awards are?
What's wrong with raspberries?
No one would flipping know.
Bro, if you ask someone what the Razzies are, no one would know.
No one would know.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because
people don't pay attention to the worst of things. There's a cynicism, I think, to give an award for the worst of something.
That's an interesting thing because I always really like it. There are some actors who not love the Razzies, but will embrace Razzies. Actually, pretty recently, Francis Ford Coppola won a Razzie, or I guess he was definitely nominated, but I don't know if he won.
For Megalopolis?
He talked about it, and he was like, I am proud to be nominated. I'm proud to be in these conversations because we live in a time where so many things are doomed. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
This isn't exactly what he said, but he said, so many things are doomed to being mediocre and forgotten. But my film will have a legacy and is being talked about, even if it's not in the conversation I'd like it to be. So I'm proud and I'm happy that it's being talked about, even if it's in these negative connotations.
Yeah.
Because it's going to build up a thing.
He's lying. Yeah.
But I think I still think that's an interesting
It's valid. We've had that conversation before, where it's like you want to be loved or hated, not forgotten.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You want to be relevant. You want to get, the whole marketing thing, Sam, where they say, any press is good press, but anybody that's been in marketing or branding or journalism knows that's not true.
No, you don't want to. You don't.
It's not true. It's not true it's never been true unless you're in control of the narrative. Now, if you can control your own negative narrative, then great. But no one wants to be, as an artist, which I know Francis Ford Coppola is, he doesn't want to be associated with a Razzie. But the part that's true is the part where he said, at least somebody's talking about it and it'll have a legacy, which means people will go watch it out of curiosity, the way they did with Howard the Duck.
Exactly.
So, or Waterworld, people watch
or
that or Showgirls, they just watch it out of curiosity. Like, what is this train wreck?
Can this be that bad? Right.
Exactly. It gets that
I still to this day.
But there's nothing. There's nothing in him that says that's true about I'm proud of this. He's not proud of it.
No,
he's not proud of getting a Razzie.
And I'm not 100% sure if he said specifically I'm proud. There are actors that are, though. Like, I know Will Ferrell. I think it's Will Ferrell who got nominated and won one time. The Razzies is not like it's not an event. It's a internet thing. They don't host the Razzies. But he made I think it was Will Ferrell. He made present to him a real genuine Razzie.
Yeah, they have that thing. Yeah,
it was like, I won the award.
Size thing. Yeah.
What is it, Nick? I need the award.
It's a big what?
It's a golf ball sized raspberry. Okay. I was going to tell you. So I'm reading here. The term raspberry is used in its irreverent sense, as in blowing a raspberry.
So I always thought
like the fruit.
No, it's not the fruit. There's a colloquialism around raspberry, and I always thought it was. Now these could papa berry. I think we're talking about dingleberries, maybe. So when somebody says a dingleberry, they're talking about when you wipe your ass and you get the toilet paper caught in your butt, and then that's hanging there in your hair. This is kind of gross, but that's
how do we get on this topic?
That's called it. You brought it up, fool. It's called a dingleberry.
When?
But
when
now.
Did I say that?
Right
I
now.
Didn't say that.
That's
I said blowing a raspberry.
Different.
Yeah.
That's called
okay.
They call that a dingleberry. They call this.
Did I fall asleep?
They call this a dingleberry, but I think some people call it a raspberry too.
Well, blowing a raspberry, razzing, or making a Bronx cheer is to make a noise similar to flatulence that may signify derision, real, or fame. There you go. It is made by placing the tongue between the lips.
Thank you for bringing the audience into the fart sound.
That's a Razzie right there.
So they're basically saying your movie was shit.
Exactly. That's
not even as good as that. Just like the after effects of it.
All right, what's your least favorite movie? I'll start with mine.
Okay, what's your least favorite movie?
Worst movie. Actually, this is the only movie I've ever.
You can get a raspberry like bruise, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah. Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo.
No, Male Gigolo was good. It's European Gigolo.
European Gigolo was the second one.
Gigolo.
What did you hate about it?
Everything. I walked out in the middle of it. It was just too stupid. Too stupid.
Shout out to Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. He's actually a good guy.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you got?
No. I'm going to go last.
Why?
I got to think here.
You just said there was one you walked out on.
Oh yeah, what was the one you walked out on? I wanted to go last, Nick, because you guys already know my answer. But
yeah, no.
Oh, I got a topical one that's in contention for sure. And Chris, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, bro.
Okay,
you're gonna love it. Amelia Perez is one of the most irredeemable pieces of dog shit I've ever seen in my life.
Amelia Perez,
truly
worst
trash
movie. It is the new Hillbilly Elegy. It's a movie that was loved and hated. There's no middle ground for that movie.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about that movie the other day. I was thinking about you specifically, Sam. I thought, why can't Sam find the middle ground in that movie? No. And I realized there's no middle ground in that movie.
No.
You either love it or hate it.
No, I can't stand that one. That was one that I watched with my dad, and we couldn't even make fun of it.
Yeah.
We couldn't even make fun of it. Usually we have a sense of humor about bad movies. We couldn't even make fun of it. We literally were to the point halfway through where we're just kind of waiting for it to end. And we went, if this wasn't Oscar nominated, we would have just turned it off. And moved on, which is probably what we should have done and would have been more respectful. But it only tarnished it further by forcing myself to finish it out.
How did you feel about Zoe Saldana then?
I thought she was not good in the movie. I don't think that she deserves that Oscar at all. I don't think that was a deserved win. I also don't agree with this narrative that was pushed that she's deserved an Oscar her whole career. No, she hasn't.
For Guardians of the
Galaxy. She played Gamora, and then complains about it. She literally is in the two biggest franchises of all time. Avatar and MCU. and she goes on record complaining about it, saying that she's bogged down to do franchise films. I'm sorry you're bogged down to make $100 million, right? And have infinite jobs.
She didn't make $100 million, but yeah.
She's worth like $80 million.
Yeah, but she didn't. That's not what they pay her for the film. That's all I'm saying. I'm with you. I get the spirit of what you're saying.
But my point is, like, she doesn't deserve it to put some green paint or blue paint on her, and then therefore she's had this storied career that needs an Oscar just because she did something a little different. Like, I don't know. It's a can of worms. I didn't agree with it.
I'm on record. I didn't mind her performance. I thought it was good, but I didn't think she was the best. I mean, the person I thought should have won wasn't even nominated. That was Angelina Jolie. Nick?
Right. Okay. So I can't remember. I'm going to need some time to think about the worst.
This is hard
so
for you because you're an optimistic guy.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give you the movie that pissed me off the most.
Look at the language.
Really upset
about foul language.
Man,
because you spent money on it.
Please excuse my French. No,
time and
money. This was a thing for a while.
If you want to get under his fingernails,
the fellas knew. The fellas knew about this. Inception.
Really?
Come on.
I was so mad, bro. I was just like, the end. That's all I gotta say. The end. I was so mad. Of course, it's a great movie. What I'm saying is, it pissed me off.
Well, you don't.
Like, it just.
You don't like it. It didn't.
It did nothing. Nothing.
The story didn't go your way.
Nothing. It didn't go anywhere. It just stopped, and I was like, "No, give me something. It literally gave me nothing."
Interesting.
And I was so annoyed that I was bothered for like 2 years. People were like, "Man, because people would talk about Inception and be like, it's such a great movie." I'm like, forget that movie.
Nick, I fully get you, bro. I fully get you. I hate Interstellar. So I know exactly what you mean. Like, and all
both
people do.
Both of those are great movies.
All people do is say Interstellar is one of the greatest movies of all time. Inception is one of the greatest movies of all time. I totally get you. I disagree on this point. I totally get what you mean, though.
Yeah, so that's where I was at. Man. I honestly haven't had a movie bother me that much. Like, remember, we could talk about Barbie. I told you with Barbie, I stopped watching it. I don't care if it's nominated for anything. I cut that crap off.
Yes, maybe Barbie's your answer.
I cut it off. I didn't even, but I don't think about Barbie. It doesn't bother me, right? Inception bothered me for like 2 straight years where I was just, anytime somebody mentioned it, I was like, man, forget that movie. So as you can see, I'm still feeling it. You know, it's still in me. I might have to watch it again, watch it with my son, and see what he thinks.
That's a tough one, man. I feel like you have like real animosity for Chris Nolan, and that
bruh,
hatred,
freaking
pure hatred.
You're like Liam.
I'm trying to be calm. I'm trying not to curse, man. It's just like, well, come out, just come out with my face.
You're Liam Neeson.
Anyway.
You're Liam Neeson. Yeah, but you will kill him if he.
No.
So for me, let me make it fun, and then we'll wrap up and get out of here, man. This has been a blast. This has been so much fun. We need to do this more often because the conversation. I love when we have our guests on, but when it's just us four, the conversation can really go in any direction, and hopefully we give enough insight into the movie business and different things we've learned and know like along the way. But it's just fun to be able to talk to the three of you. And for us to talk to each other, but I'm on the record saying Freddie Got Fingered is the only movie I've walked out of, but really that was because it fell apart in Act 3. Act 1, if I'm being completely real, I laughed. It was like it started off like there was a moment where Tom Green owned the world.
Yep.
Like everything he did was funny. He used to do the strangest shit, and I don't know if it's funny today, but he just came out with a special. I don't know if anybody watched it, but I think he just came out with a special. But back then he really owned it. He owned the zeitgeist, and as we like to say, and the first act was funny. The rest of it just wasn't a movie. But if I have to think about a movie that should have been better, like I don't think anybody was like, oh, Tom Green the filmmaker, like that should have been, that was awesome. You know what I mean? Like it was already a shot in the dark for him to do it. It's kind of like trying to surprise somebody with the fact that like Cool as Ice wasn't a good movie. No one thought Vanilla Ice was going to be able to pull that movie off. That movie was a love letter to Vanilla Ice, and it was terrible. I mean, go watch Cool as Ice. It is so cringe. It is like, you know how girls will say, like, guys give them the ick? Like, that movie is full of ick, right? Like if you watch it, when you watched it then and you watch it now. So there are worse movies than, like, Freddy Got Fingered. Like, Cool as Ice is worse, objectively, you know, worse than that movie. But in terms of, like, filmmakers we know can make a good movie that I just didn't like or understand why so many people liked it. It was really this phenomenon that was happening around Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey. And I remember every woman in my life had read 50 Shades of Grey. And I'm a real elitist prick sometimes. When I opened that book and saw it was printed in 18 font, I was like, oh, you guys what the fuck is going on? Like,
you didn't give it a chance?
So I did. I watched the movie. And I was like, where's the there? Like, if you want to see real romance on a screen and something that really sticks with you, like I mentioned before, I think at the top of this hour, go watch A Taste of Things. There's a lot, like, even Basic Instinct is got more sort of sexual, like, it's got a sexual fire to it that feels real. Jungle Fever with Spike Lee, like, you could watch these things sort of get, but like, and there are a lot more I'm leaving out, but I just thought, for the amount of money that movie made and how many women read the book and liked the movie, I just couldn't understand it. I was like, okay.
That's because it wasn't for you.
Well, have you ever seen one of those movies in the theater?
I saw 50 Shades of Grey in the theater. I saw the original Twilight in the theater. And the original Twilight, I understood. So shout out to Stephanie Meyer. I understood why people liked it, and I thought it was a brand new genre. I think that she basically gave birth to the YA genre as sort of like a type of book. And it's also printed in like 18 font and written at a 5th to 7th grade level. That's beside the point.
Genius, honestly. Like if you're thinking of that from a marketing standpoint, the audience who wants to read that book isn't looking for something deep. They're looking to crush it on a beach trip. And so that 18-point font, that flies. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great point, and it's so true, because I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say something about the age of the audience, and I was going to combat that. But no, you're right. Like, 55-year-old women on the beach were reading this book. They made a movie, and what I really liked about the Twilight series in general was that the leap they made from movie 1 to movie 2. Movie 2 was cinematic and big and like the best film they could have possibly made. And then if you go back and watch movie 1, you're like, okay, this was a low budget. They didn't want to take a big risk on this. But at the time you watched it, you were so pumped up by the book, you went and watched it. And that's all I would say to you, Nick. It's like, yeah, I know 50 Shades of Grey wasn't for me, but I like sex. I like sexy books. I like
not
sexual
the content,
things.
man.
I like the content. I like Twilight.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Yeah.
I like Twilight. That wasn't for me either. I liked it. When I went and watched Twilight, I remember my friends, not you, but some other friends that we both know, talked to me as if I went to a Britney Spears concert by myself. But you went and watched Twilight? That's weird.
Well, did you go solo? That's a very important question.
You probably did.
I can't remember.
He probably did.
Because I'm gonna be honest here, Chris.
I don't remember.
Going solo, it's
a little weird.
It's anything. It depends on the showtime. 2 p.m. Monday. I don't know.
Did he do it for the job? Or was it work?
He did it for pleasure.
Exactly.
He did it for pleasure.
He did.
He did it for pleasure. It's so funny.
The reason I asked that, Chris, is because I partook in the most recent Magic Mike, but I went with a bunch of my friends, so I can understand. That theater experience was wild. It was full of like middle-aged, I presume, women hooting and hollering.
Presume. That's good. I like that. We're in the new zeitgeist, Chris.
They were hooting. It was like the Minecraft movie, which you see videos of. They were like going crazy, and we were in the front row, and we thought it was hilarious.
This girl, this
I've
female,
only seen Magic Mike by accident.
So we were talking about Facebook. Yeah, you have to watch it by accident. Exactly. You have to you get surprised by it. It's like when my aunt took me to Flesh Gordon when I was a kid, and she thought it was Flash Gordon. But the first scene is like a giant penis coming across the screen. They ran us out of there. Like, oh, this is not a superhero movie. This is the wrong kind of superhero or superpower. But speaking of Facebook, because I talked to you guys earlier, I think before you went live, that like the new meta class is the prophecy. It's like the cameras are always on now, and the only way you can turn them off is if you turn off Hey Meta, and then even then you don't know if they really turned them off. So it's really
Step on them.
Yeah, you can only step on them. That's the only thing you can do. Maybe that's the answer to like what's next in the next 5 or 10 years and
Got a black dot right
how we're
over
gonna save society and maybe get a win for the humanists. But you know, the other thing they do that I find really interesting is they know you so well and they're tracking you so much that when they actually put a friend suggestion either on Instagram or Facebook for you, you now have to consider how is it that Facebook made that connection. Like if it's somebody you don't know, it's like, who is it that is the bridge person between us? And were they looking at my profile so that they then got suggested?
It was Kevin Bacon.
All they have to do is run your video through facial recognition, and they tag you with whoever you.
Well, I'm not talking about tagging.
Pass by on the street.
I'm not even talking about tagging. I'm just saying sometimes you'll get strangers that people you don't know being suggested as friends to follow. And you're like, okay, when that happened 10 years ago, PB, you were like, interesting, cool.
They'll say
great,
one or
great.
two mutual friends or whatever.
Sure, I know. But 10 years ago, you'd say, okay, they're throwing darts in the dark. Now we know that's not the case.
It's targeted.
Now we know that person is connected to you somehow, and Facebook found that connection. It could be a mutual friend, but I'm saying sometimes that's not even it. Sometimes they're in your universe and you don't know how, and it's quite the mystery how they're in your universe.
Well,
so this person friended me, and it was a beautiful young lady. And I went to her profile, and I'm just kind of looking, flipping through. How do I know this person? Flipping through. Oh, that's a nice picture. Flipping through some risque ones in there too. Flip through. Then I get to like one picture, and it's like trans. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I keep flipping and I realize this girl is a trans woman. And she was fine. And I'm like, so when you say presumed woman, Sam, and Nick says we're in the new era. You boys are straight. You're right on, dude. I kept looking for Adam's apple. I couldn't see it. They done shaved that bitch down. They took a nail file and filed
that's
that
how
thing
Eddie
down.
Murphy got caught up. He picked up that pretty Hawaiian girl who recognized him, and he was just trying to help out. Trying to help her out because, that's all. He didn't know.
The problem is when the next thing you know, that person they connected you up with is jimmying your back door trying to get in your house.
Oh, that took a dark turn, PB.
It did.
That's where it's going to end up.
It did.
Well, to be fair, that all could have happened by now. I mean, it has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've instructed my family never to post real-time vacation videos and pictures, so they don't do that. We never post pictures when we're actually out of town, and then we always have somebody at the house when we leave. So there's, because you're right, Sam. I mean, and you're right, PB. Like it's you just can't. It's like never do a TikTok or anything in front of the house where people can see your house number and triangulate, because it's already too easy to triangulate who you are and what you do and where you're at.
The socials gave up on me. They don't recommend anybody to me anymore. I don't accept any of them. So they just stopped doing it. They just literally, I don't get any of them anymore. It's just like, there's no recommendations for me. So I'm like, cool, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think having maybe the smallest footprint possible in an age where just to use the service is going to cost you so much without costing you dollars. Maybe that's the best thing, Nick, is just to not accept anything and maybe have the smallest footprint possible. I have my X account, and that's really it for me personally. I do have the Facebook, but for years I didn't have it. I only have it now just because I wanted to finally put a face to the account, because I had a faceless account that I only had, Sam, just so I could see who was tagging me in photos and accept or
but
not accept.
You made a Facebook in 2025?
No. I've had this since like 2004. I see what you're doing there. Listen. I've been on Facebook since it was like just a classroom app. That's how.
Yeah, it was for like the college thing.
Tapped in with the Zuck, bro.
Yeah, 2004.
From the go.
If you missed your class, you got on Facebook, you hit up one of your classmates, and they were like, "Yeah, you missed this. There's going to be a quiz tomorrow," and it was like really useful. It's like, wow, Facebook is awesome. Facebook is awesome. I just missed this class. Like, you used to not be able to miss a class. Like, now with Facebook, you could miss a class and still be okay. And then it turned into what it was, I think, in 08, Nick?
Who knows,
Oh,
man?
it's 07?
Yeah, it's
It destroyed MySpace, just completely stomped.
Poor MySpace.
And then, MySpace was the epiphany moment for me in social media because I remember seeing my friend's profile and everything on his profile was a lie. And only I knew it. And I was like, shit, the internet. Honestly, I promise you, and it may sound stupid and ignorant, but I really did not fully appreciate the power of the internet until I saw his profile and I was like, you can be whoever you want on here.
They do that in no, not that, but I think a similar thing in well, yeah, no, I can't comment on that, but in DD,
right?
That's like a lot of what they do in DD, where he's like, you know, changing the song on his page, right? Because the girl likes it and stuff, and it's like, yeah, you can present yourself as whoever you want.
On what?
Very interesting. The movie DD.
Oh, on DD. Yeah. I love DD.
Chris was thinking you meant Dungeons and Dragons, but you were leaving out the and.
D&D.
I'm sorry, Chris. I know that's an easy thing to mix up, especially with how into DD you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was like, wait, what?
No.
Finally.
Are we going to go to Quest?
Both of you guys are about to get the D&D on your shoulder. Papa Bear, we need to find out how much DD made eventually when we get back on here. I want to know if that movie went into the black. That was a good movie, man. People should check that out.
It's great. It's great.
Go watch the movie DD. Sean Wang, right?
Yeah, Sean Wang. Yep.
Go watch DD. It's a good movie. Anyway,
fantastic.
This has been an absolute blast. And Nick, we are live stream, but is it still cool if you sign us off with the credo, or is that not cool?
I'll tell people the thing because they need to know what we represent. So I'm just going to tell our filmmaking friends, our fans, our followers out there, and our fam: be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Appreciate you joining. If you were able to join in the live stream, and if not, this will be out in a few days, or maybe a week, or maybe a few days. Nick, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'll talk to all you guys soon.
Cool. All right, folks.
Peace.
You guys.
Peace.
All right.
Laters.
Love you, Sam. Love you, Papa Bear.
Love you. Bye.
Peace.